hero without a class, chat. This is one of those fantasy animes that you've probably seen 1, 2, 3, 4 times the lady, many times in the past, chat, and in the future, because that's just the cookie cutter way of making anime for the moment. This is the trend, but it is not in isekai. So congratulations to those who are wanting to stay away from isekai anime. Fantasy, of course. So here we have, chat, the main character who has very important parents and a overzealous older sister, even though she looks way younger. When we get to the end, I'm gonna tell you how overzealous, if that's the proper word for it, overzealous she is. She's a little insane. Anyway, she probably needs to be on a watch list, if I'm being honest. Like, oh, but Candy, I would love that kind of sister. No, you wouldn't, weirdo. Anyway, so we have the main character's father. He's important. I just don't remember why. I think he's like tough. I don't know exactly how tough. However, I know that his mother is extremely tough. We're gonna see how tough it is. Granted, I only seen the first episode. There are 7 episodes, chat. I would recommend not watching this in dub. Yeah, watch it in Japanese. I watched it in English because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. But for a story like this that you've probably seen many times over, I would highly recommend that you do not go for the English. Now, granted, the older sister's voice actresses, if you listen to a lot of English anime, you would recognize her voice. And I think she does the voice from Ghost Stories of the older sister and that little brother. That's her. If you ever seen Ghost Stories in English, which Ghost Stories in English is probably the best dubbed anime in the world. There's no other anime that comes close. There's some good ones, however, well, maybe Konosuba. No, Konosuba is way better. It's probably the best anime in the world. However, especially being the funniest. However, Ghost Stories is the only anime that has a dub where there was pretty much said, hey, you guys can say what you want. It doesn't matter how stupid it is. You can say what you want. Just don't cut anything out. And they did. They said so much stuff. It's so dumb, but I love it. So Konosuba and Ghost Stories are really up there. For real, chat. For real. But with this anime, it is funny, but it's not like comedy like Konosuba. It's got a little bit of comedy in it, but not like Konosuba level of comedy. You know what I'm saying? Like if Konosuba is level 10, this might be a 5. Yeah. They say Konosuba sets a high bar. Also, I'm not too much of a fan of the main character, if I'm being honest. He's supposed to be 10 years old, but he does not act 10. He acts like, actually, maybe a 10-year-old emo kid, maybe? That's what he kind of acts like. Emo? Or 10-year-olds? Emo chat? Or goth? One of the two? Maybe like a male version of Wednesday Addams. Yeah, that might be it. So, we have a world where they all worship a goddess. Yes. And this, I don't know why, but she reminds me of Shadowheart a little bit. Not because she even looks like Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate, but more because she just uses magic. And like, wow, Candy, everyone who uses magic look alike. Yes, I'm saying that. She looks like Santa Claus too, because he uses magic too. Anyway, so when a kid turns 10, they go to the place where they get decided who let me rephrase that. They go to a place where they get to see what class they are. Blacksmith or not a blacksmith, other things that aren't blacksmith. Yeah, I'm sure you can figure out those things. So he goes up, you get touched by the, no Diddy, all right? He waves your hand over you and then just do the thing. Nothing weird, all right? Jeez, get your mind out of the gutter, chat. What's with you? But he notices that the main character doesn't have a class. Like, hey, your parents are legendary, and they both have crazy, powerful classes, but you ain't got nothing. You got no sauce on your cheeseburger. No mustard, no ranch. Who puts ranch on their cheeseburger? You don't got no pickles. You're a burger without the bun. That's pretty much what he's saying. And that's kind of sad, really. But he's, in all honesty, he's kind of okay with it. Like, in all honesty, he's kind of okay with it. But his parents are like, hey, this all right. We'll just work extra hard so you never have to work a day in your life. I'm like, just like that? At least they're good people. They kind of too smiley, like what you smiling about. But for the most part, and we even got the older sister who looks pretty young. It's like, hey, I'm going to create. I think she's a sleeper, if I'm being honest. Sleeper in terms of Like, she may seem soft, but she might be a powerhouse, if I'm being honest, chat. It just seems like that's going to be the case. But is everybody just drinking hot coffee? Anyway, I think that's the case, because she seems like an annoying older sister. Not annoying in terms of like a party pooper. I don't like those types of characters. Like Frieren, right? In Frieren, you have that one girl, I forget her name, the purple hair, you know, the mage, right? She's a bit of a party pooper. I don't like her. Is she very important to the story? Oh, of course. She's extremely important, because without her, Frieren would, I don't know, no discipline. To be, you know, elves and elven folk, they take it one day at a time, but their day is like a year. Ugh, they blink and everything is a new season. It's snowing out. But what makes our main character somewhat interesting is that he has no power. He's good at learning what other people can do. He's pretty much a blank slate. Other people, when they get there, if they have a class, they're kind of stuck with that. But because he doesn't have a class, he can pretty much, you know, learn to do other things. I find that, you know, kind of stereotypical in anime like this, but, you know, what makes it very interesting is that his mother is a powerhouse of the best swordsman, like at least in the city. Hopefully no one died. Hopefully his parents doesn't die. How many anime have you seen where the main character's parents are dead? All of them. Every single last anime that ever came out had dead parents. Like they're Batman. Superman? Yeah, Superman and Batman. Yeah, because there's something about losing your parents makes you into a superhero, chat. And if you're not a superhero, if you're not a superhero and you don't have parents, I honestly don't know what to tell you. I think you dropped the ball somewhere on like stage 2 of losing your second parent. I'm sorry. Moving on. Stage 2. You know, stage 1 because the first parent, and stage 2, the second, whatever. His mother is so powerful that he finds it hard to try to train with her, because she just launches them into a tree. Apparently she doesn't know how to pull her punches, even for her baby. Who knows? Who knows? I hope their daughter is like the embodiment of both. Like, I hope she's like just a overpowering powerhouse. And I hope that the oldest sister isn't overshadowed by the brother, if I'm being honest. I hope that's the case, because I would love to see him get stronger. I would hate to see him not have any mountains in the distance, if that makes any sense. Like, for example, in Dragon Ball, oh wow, Dragon Ball. Yes, Dragon Ball. In Dragon Ball, Goku is getting stronger. However, there will forever be people out there who are stronger than him, because if he becomes the strongest, then there's no more anime. And as we have learned, apparently, the reason why Dragon Ball has to keep going, because it could ruin the economy. This is what I heard. This is what I heard. If Dragon Ball doesn't keep going, it could not ruin it, but it can harm the economy of Japan, which is wild to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but that's what I heard. I know some people are like, oh, Dragon Ball ain't that good, you know? I'm like, no, Dragon Ball is very good. I think it's up there with Pokemon, really. Yeah, maybe Nintendo. Nintendo has been doing something weird, like Mario. Oh, wait, Pokemon and Mario are the same, right? Yeah, I get it mixed up a little bit. Anyway, so he goes to the training area to go train to become stronger, because he doesn't want to train with his mother, because she keeps beating the crap out of him. And he meets these two kids, like, this kid was like, oh, you're that classless guy. I'm like, first off, all of you are 10. Like, speak normal. Speak normal for a 10-year-old, all right? Come on now. Jeez Louise. So, and then he gets offended. They say, you think you can train with us? And I know it sounded like I was about to say F with us, but no, that's not what I was about to say. I was about to say fight with us. You think you can train with us? Like, you have no class. Like, and he was getting offended that he wanted to train with them. Chat. On some level, I can understand why this 10-year-old is giving another 10-year-old the business for not having a class, right? But I just feel like that's very weird, because normally 10-year-olds just don't blatantly just hate on somebody else for whatever reason. That came down from his parents. That was taught to, hey, little Timmy, come over here for a second. If you meet anyone who doesn't have a class, you hate them with all your heart. But why, Pa? Then he smacks him on the side of the face. Yeah, that's how it works out. Abusive. Anyway, he beats them both. They started cheating, by the way. He fights one of them, but but the other one jumped in, and they was like, hey, you. They were like, hey, you cheated. you took us out when we were distracted. Like, no, no. In fact, the action scene is really interesting for this. I like the action. It seems very well animated, and it makes me kind of sad a little bit because there are some anime out there that don't get enough of a budget for animation. Like the beginning after the end, right, chat? People were butthurt over that. People were also butthurt about One Punch Man, but I don't consider that being a thing. I think that's just dumb people being upset about dumb things. Yeah, remember those anime rats I was telling you about? Yeah. Now don't get me wrong, there are valid concerns about like low budget anime, but there's a way of being concerned about it. All right. I read a comment somewhere where someone said, you guys are so spoiled by high quality anime that when you see like your basic medium quality anime, you spit on it. And I'm like, oh, is that a bar? No, that doesn't rhyme, but it could be. Does rap really rhyme, chat? Does it? Like time and sublime? No, that rhymes. I can't not rhyme, chat. I'm just built different. But it's very sad. It's very sad how a lot of decent anime. You know what? No, I'm gonna flip that. It's very sad that a lot of decent anime have like really good animation, but really good anime have decent animation, if that makes any sense. That makes sense, right, chat? Yeah, I think that makes sense. Then you have I believe it's the second main character. Not main character, but sub character. Sub character? That's not mean, is it? Nah, that's not mean. The sub character that's gonna be showing up, he's gonna be a part of this party. It's in the thumbnail of the anime. Probably not in this video's thumbnail, but you know what I mean. And he's like, hey, you guys should have more class. Stop complaining that he beat you. Like be like an honorable swordsman, because his father is like the second best swordsman in the town, in the village, right behind that kid's mother. Very wild stuff. You love to see it though. You love to see it. Not in a girl power kind of thing, but it's more like, I actually like that kind of trope. You know how some people would like to bash any kind of trope with anime? Like, oh, why is there fan service? That's a trope. Or why is there the sister who loves his whatever so much? Think of all the tropes, right? I think the one trope that I think is a pretty fun is the female character is actually tough, because I'm really sick and tired of seeing the male character have to go save some female character. Not because I think I'm like trying to be anti-misogynist or whatever like that. It's just I'm really sick and tired of the main character have to go out his way to save some girl. I'm like, all right, can't the girl just handle her own business? The main character's got things to do, like go shopping. Yeah. I don't know what main characters do, chat. But I don't know, I just think it's just kind of weird. I'm like, all right, let's stop with the screaming. Unless you're in unless you're that one girl in the Goblin Slayer, you know the girl I'm talking about, the one in episode 1 in Goblin Slayer. Unless you're that girl in episode 1, you gotta really learn to handle your business. In fact, even if you are that one girl in Goblin Slayer 1, you gotta learn to handle your business. You can't just be going adventuring without, being prepared. Even Marines, I love our Marines. Even Marines are prepared. Green Beret, all of them, they're prepared for the worst to happen. And they're gonna go down swinging. I'm just saying, chat, be built different. Try to, at least. Anyway, you have these kids like, don't you know who that is? That's blah 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 blah. That's MC Hammer Pants. Freaking MC Hammer Pants. I call. You're probably gonna figure this out, but that's not even a boy. That's a girl. But they think it's a boy because it's got a male voice. I think I listened to it in English, and I think it sounded like a boy, but women does like a lot of like male voices in anime, chat, so it's kind of hard. But they're easily just pushing like for that. Granted, I'm pretty sure I still can't prove that that's a girl, but I feel like it's so subtle. They're not heavy-handed with it, by the way. They're subtle. They're trying to, I can see that they're trying to be very subtle about being surprised about, oh, that is actually a girl. And I think, and they're doing it very well. It's very interesting how they do that. But what ended up happening is that they just fight. The main character and this character fight, and he loses, which I think is very good. And they didn't even show the whole entire fight. They didn't. They showed some of it and then cut to that character, the main character, losing. which I think is great. I think the main character in any anime needs to lose a lot. And not me, I don't mean like lose your family a lot. I mean, you lose battles. You can win the war if you want, but wins like, lose some battles and I come back, do it better. Or you lose battles and you never be able to redeem yourself on that battle ever again. Like, you lost, you managed to live. Let's try to get better next time, if you can even do that. I like those types of battles, chat, if I'm being honest. That makes for a good writing, right? Writing, right? So this is the part where I tell you about the older sister being like a little sus. Oh, speaking of that tooth thing, did you know back in the day, I think they probably might still be doing it, I'm not sure. Japanese girls were purposely giving themselves snag-a-tooth. Very weird stuff. I'm like, and I say very weird in the sense that don't mess with your teeth, man. Your teeth are very important. But they would purposely making their tooth crooked and sticking out of their mouth. And I find that's too much. You can't do that. You cannot be messing with your teeth like that. That is not good. So she the reason why she was trying to kiss him, by the way, is because she was going to give him a wake up kiss. That's still not a good reason. You know what? It's like that situation where you have the oldest sister like hugging their baby sibling, and then because the mom would always kiss their baby, like the older sister is trying to do the same thing, like learning from the mother. So I think that's the kind of situation we have. We don't have the kind of situation where the oldest sister is trying to get with her brother. It's not that kind of situation. It could easily be interpreted that way, and if it is, like, to each their own. It's very weird stuff, but hey, to each their own. You know how much crazy stuff that is happening in Victorian days, or way past Victorian days. What is this? Fantasy? That's Victorian, right? Going goblin hunting? That's around that time. Back in the day when 1886, when goblins were things. Anyway, so like I said before, I'm really interested in seeing what becomes of his oldest sister. She's gotta like become something like a paladin or something. And I say paladin only because I've been playing Baldur's Gate, chat. Baldur's Gate 3 is man. Fun fact, we might be going live today. I am most likely going to post this, or I might not post this today and just go live after this recording. We will see. We'll see. So he meets that redhead character again, and this is why I think this character might actually be a girl, because of the blush. Now, if they keep this character if they have this character be a boy, that would be interesting. However, a lot of anime, it's based more around, it's a male-centric anime. The main character is a boy, so he's probably going to have only girls on his party. That's what you normally see with a lot of anime that's written with a male main character. A lot of the times that is the case. Now Frieren is able to do it perfectly. Yeah, they do that very, very well. I still don't like that one girl. I forget her name. Got the purple hair. She's always being a buzzkill. Very important character, but man, you guys need to be more responsible. Like, shut up. I want to eat 10,000 cakes in one sitting. Okay, let me live my life. Let me get the stomach ache. Jeez. Anyway, so he tells this character, it was like, I learned something from our battle. Because of you, I've been pushing myself, to become stronger. And I managed to learn that technique that you showed me. I don't have a screenshot of that specific technique, but he said exactly that. So, and she got all flustered, which I most likely that is a girl. Oh wait, I lied. That is the technique right there. So he learns that technique even though he doesn't have a class, and even though everyone says that's impossible. Not everyone, but only the kids are saying that. Only the kids are saying, or this character saying, you can't learn that technique. You don't have a class. That's impossible. And like, oh yeah? Which, honestly, it is very weird dialogue between two 10-year-olds, but at the same time, is like, that does sound like what a 10-year-old could say, because they don't know any better, kind of thing, if I'm being honest. So that might be the case. Also, something to keep in mind, even though they're 10, right? Or yeah, I think they're 10. Even though they're 10, I think episode 2 it will jump to them being older because they're going off to a university, right? That's normally what you see in that kind of trend, chat. But if I probably won't follow up with this anime. It really all depends on how many likes this video gets, if I'm being honest. I most likely won't be following up with this anime. I'm probably going to jump to like trying to review some other ones, but I would give it I don't know, a 3 out of 5 of a chance of me watching it. Probably a 1 out of 5 of me a chance of me watching it. I like it. It's one of those type of animes where you've seen it before if you watched a lot of anime. This is easily going to put somebody onto watching anime, and I think in the long run, I'm just rambling. I really got nothing to say. Anyway, chat, give it a try. Watch the first episode, and then if it's bad, watch the second episode, and if it's terrible, watch the third episode. Trust me, I'm only bringing this to your attention because I know you're not gonna watch it. Look at you. Now look at me. Now look at yourself. Get a mirror. Look at yourself. Now look back at me. You're not gonna watch this. That's why I'm bringing it to your attention, to see if I can talk you into getting your hands on it. Anyway, chat, I'll see you next time.